In the heart of Manhattan, where sprawling green lawns and winding paths now define Central Park, a buried history lies beneath the soil. In the mid-1800s, two vibrant communities, York Hill and Seneca Village, stood proudly in this very space. These were neighborhoods of hope and resilience, built by African Americans seeking refuge and opportunity in a time of systemic oppression. But as New York City grew, its ambitions cast a shadow over the lives of those who called this land home. How did these flourishing communities, symbols of black success and self-sufficiency, vanish? And why have their stories been all but erased from history? In 1825, a small yet thriving settlement began to emerge along what is now the western edge of Central Park, near 82nd Street. Seneca Village was established by free African Americans just 2 years after slavery was officially abolished in New York State. The area soon became a sanctuary for African American families, Irish immigrants, and other marginalized groups. Meanwhile, York Hill, just south of Seneca Village, grew into another hub of black prosperity. For many residents, land ownership was more than a financial asset. It was a symbol of independence, a rare opportunity to escape the constant threats of discrimination and violence. By the 1850s, Seneca Village had more than 50 homes, 3 churches, and a school. Its residents were landowners, entrepreneurs, and community leaders who defied the odds to create a vibrant society in an era of systemic inequality. But as Seneca Village and York Hill thrived, the city's elite envisioned a grand park, one they claimed would elevate New York to the cultural status of European capitals. In 1853, New York passed legislation authorizing the construction of Central Park, declaring eminent domain over more than 700 acres of privately owned land. The residents of Seneca Village and York Hill received eviction notices, their properties seized for meager compensation. Though they resisted, their pleas fell on deaf ears. Newspapers of the time, catering to a largely white audience, dismissed these communities as slums, justifying their destruction. For the families who lived here, it was more than a loss of land. It was a loss of identity, community, and dignity. Personal accounts from the time speak of heartbreak, betrayal, and the pain of being cast aside in the name of progress. For more than a century, the stories of York Hill and Seneca Village remained buried, forgotten by a city that had moved on. It wasn't until the 1990s that a renewed interest in this history began to surface. Archaeological digs, combined with historical research, unearthed artifacts and documents that painted a vivid picture of life in these communities. Today, efforts continue to honor the legacies of those who lived here. Markers and exhibits near Central Park's west side remind visitors of the lives that were uprooted, but the full story remains largely untold. The destruction of York Hill and Seneca Village was not an isolated event. It was part of a broader pattern of urban development displacing marginalized communities, a pattern that persists to this day. Central Park is celebrated as a triumph of urban design, a refuge in the heart of a bustling metropolis. Yet beneath its beauty lies a story of sacrifice, one that reveals the cost of progress for marginalized voices. York Hill and Seneca Village remind us that history is not just about the monuments we preserve, but also the lives we forget. It is our responsibility to reclaim these stories, to honor the resilience of those who came before us, and to ensure that their legacies are never erased again.